Welcome to Honeybee, real stories of love, lies, and betrayal, where every truth stings. Let's begin. Some words, once spoken, can never be undone. They sink so deep that they alter not only the way you see the person who said them, but also how you see yourself. What my wife said to me during one argument about our intimacy didn't just wound me. It broke something essential in our marriage that could never be fixed. My name is Desmond. My wife, Sharon, and I had been married for 2 years when everything between us started unraveling faster than I ever imagined. 2 years that began with so much hope, so much passion, and what I believe was both an emotional and physical bond strong enough to last. We first met at a professional conference, and from the very beginning, the attraction was instant and powerful. She had traveled from another state to attend. We connected quickly, exchanged numbers, and before long, we were inseparable. Our courtship was exactly what I had dreamed of, though most of it played out online. We shared similar values, aligned goals, and truly enjoyed being in each other's company. On the occasions when she visited me or I went to her state, the chemistry between us felt undeniable, and I was certain that passion would remain a constant in our marriage. Eventually, as we planned a wedding, she relocated to my state, and the ceremony itself was beautiful, a celebration filled with family, friends, and the promise of a bright future. Our honeymoon in Europe felt like a fairy tale. We traveled through Italy and France, experiencing romance and intimacy that made me confident our love would endure. For the first year and a half, everything went much as I had hoped. Despite demanding careers, we carved out time for one another and kept a fulfilling physical connection. We even rented a larger home in a quiet neighborhood, building what felt like a solid foundation. I was content, believing we were on the right path. But somewhere around the 18-month mark, I noticed Sharon no longer initiated intimacy. What had once been natural and frequent suddenly disappeared, and the change grew harder to ignore. At first, I blamed stress. She had been promoted at work, with heavier responsibilities and longer hours. I thought exhaustion explained her withdrawal, so I tried to be understanding. But as weeks turned into months, her distance became a clear pattern. When I tried to initiate, she found subtle ways to avoid it. She wasn't harsh, just excuses, being too tired, an early meeting the next morning, or suggesting we just cuddle. Each reason seemed valid on its own, but together, they added up to the slow fading of our physical bond. I began studying her moods, her schedule, her stress levels, searching for the right time to approach her. Yet, even my most careful attempts were met with polite refusals. She wasn't angry, just indifferent. It felt like intimacy had turned into a duty she wanted no part of. The distance wasn't only physical. Our conversations lost their depth, reduced to logistics, work, chores, social obligations. The openness we once shared disappeared. I tried to create chances for her to talk about what might be wrong, but she always insisted everything was fine. One evening, after yet another week of rejection and shallow conversations, I sat her down on the couch. Gently, I told her I had noticed the changes and asked if something was wrong, or if there was something I could do differently. I tried to approach it with care, admitting there might be things affecting her that I didn't understand. Her response was immediate and dismissive. She brushed it off as stress, claiming she was simply tired more often and that I was overanalyzing things. She said fluctuations were normal in long-term marriages, but what I was experiencing wasn't a phase. It was a steady, undeniable shift in our marriage. Still, I stepped back, hoping it would resolve itself. But giving her space only seemed to make things worse. Instead of seeing it as patience, she seemed to take it as indifference. The distance between us widened. The woman who once leaned into my touch now only tolerated my presence. The emotional toll was crushing. I questioned myself, my attractiveness, my worth as a husband, whether she was seeing someone else. I tried different approaches, planning romantic evenings, helping more around the house, bringing flowers, arranging date nights. But nothing changed. Each gesture was acknowledged politely but led nowhere. After weeks of failure and growing frustration, I decided to try again differently. One Saturday morning, we had slept in. I thought the relaxed atmosphere might spark closeness again. I reached out, touching her softly, hoping to reignite the passion we once shared. But her response was nothing but tolerance. I persisted gently, but then with a firm, dismissive gesture, she removed my hand. This rejection was sharper than any excuse she had used before. Frustrated, I asked directly why we weren't close anymore. At first, she ignored me, but when I pressed her, she turned to me with anger in her eyes. That's when she unleashed the words that destroyed everything. She told me I never satisfied her, not once, from the day we married. She said I would always leave her unfulfilled because of my size. She admitted she had hoped things would improve, but they never did. Her words shattered me. It wasn't just criticism of skill or effort. It was an attack on who I was as a man. She had kept silent for years, allowing me to believe everything was fine, only to strike me with this cruelty now. The betrayal in her silence hurt nearly as much as her words. I withdrew immediately, building a wall she could no longer cross. For days, I avoided her, speaking only when necessary. Every reminder of her cut me open again. I replayed her words constantly, wondering if she had ever been honest, if she had been pretending, comparing me to others, or even speaking about me to someone else. 2 weeks later, she started trying to undo the damage. She cooked my favorite meals, suggested fun activities, even apologized. She admitted her words had been harsh and begged forgiveness. But apologies couldn't erase the truth, that she had revealed her real feelings about me. Even if I wanted to try again, every intimate moment would now be poisoned by her confession. I couldn't forget. I couldn't see her the same. And I began to wonder if ending the marriage was the only answer. After sleepless nights of doubt, I realized the damage was permanent. By the 3rd week, I contacted a divorce lawyer. Signing those papers was painful, but I knew the emotional end had already come the morning she chose to attack me so viciously. When I handed her the divorce papers, she was shocked. She pleaded, promising therapy, patience, new techniques, anything. But my mind was made up. Her words had destroyed the trust and safety needed in a marriage. The process took months, but the marriage was already dead. When it was finalized, I felt both relief and grief. Relief at finally being free, sorrow for the dreams we had lost. Looking back, I see clearly. The marriage didn't end because of intimacy struggles, but because of her cruelty. Words spoken and anger exposed who she truly was. They revealed a lack of respect, maturity, and care that no apology could repair. The experience left scars, but it also taught me. I learned that words have the power to build or to break, and that true intimacy requires respect above all else. In therapy, I discovered that what she did was emotional abuse, and it shaped the way I now approach relationships. I learned to value honest communication, to address issues early, and to pay attention to how a partner handles frustration. Sharon's words once broke me, but they also freed me. Staying would have been a lifetime of quiet misery. Leaving gave me the chance to rebuild.